To be present, we must be intentional, and to bear fruit, we must feed the soul. You're listening to Pause, Sip, and Ponder. Hello, Ponders. Welcome back to another episode of Pause, Sip, and Ponder. Thank you so much for being here. So happy to be here today and with my lovely guests that I will introduce later. If this is your first time here, this podcast talks about everything and anything in the aim to give you some encouragement, some perspective, some enlightenment, and where we just grow and where imperfect people come together and just talk about life and just going through it and how we can learn from one another and how vulnerability is a great strength. And I'm so excited for my guest today. I have Eden Strachan, who I just met not too long ago, but the moment I saw her, she was such a light in the room. Honestly, even just in the small moment that we had together, I'm so excited to have her here and so honored, honestly, knowing your schedule, and you'll talk more about that, to be here in my humbled apartment. But I'm so excited. Eden is the founder and author of Black Girls Need Love. And I'm so excited to really show and share with all of my audience members of the good works that you do and how you've been such a light and an encouragement, how you empower young girls, especially of color, bringing them resources. And we talked about this earlier, I am so drawn and interested in hearing about the in-between moments of how you got to where you are today and the trials, the tribulations, but also the triumphs. But yeah, thank you, Eden, for being here. How are you?
I'm great. Thank you for such a kind introduction.
Sure.
Wow. Thank you for having me. I literally love, just talking about the work because it's just so close to me. So thanks for giving the opportunity.
Absolutely. And this is a safe space for you. And I'm really interested personally to learn your journey, and also as women too, and how there can be a lot of circumstances and limitations. And I love hearing the stories of women kind of thrush through that and through it and getting over those mountains. So I'm excited to learn from you. But I like to start off with a question before talking about anything professional or career based, so my audience members can get to know you a little bit more and me as well. What is your ideal day?
Oh my goodness. I would love to wake up at maybe 9 o'clock, go to the gym, get a really nice breakfast, and then definitely hot tub or the beach or something. Go to Ross, my favorite store. And then dinner on the deck, maybe a barbecue with friends and family, and then go to bed early and get started the next day with my work.
Love it. I love it. Very simple, very relaxed.
Yeah. And this is not a promo for Ross. I just love that store.
Girl, my shoes are from Ross.
Yeah. What can you say? It is a really
Ross.
Good store. So.
Absolutely. Well, thank you for sharing that. I love asking my guests that because it kind of gives a glimpse of who they are, outside of being a professional and our careers and everything, and just who we are at the core as humans. But for my audience member, and we're specifically talking about what you're doing, the tremendous things you're doing. So can you talk more about Black Girls Don't Get Love?
Yes, so Black Girls Don't Get Love, it's a book and multimedia coming-of-age brand for girls of color. We provide content and experiences for girls of color to feel seen and celebrated for the skin that they're in. That comes in the form of our book, our prom, slumber party, outdoor exploration. These are large-scale experiences to make girls of color feel special. And so at any given time, I have 50 to 100 girls of color in a room where we pamper them, make them feel special through a slumber party where we brought in cosmetologists from BOCES to,
Fun.
Yeah, it was amazing. Do hair, nails, makeup, facials. We partnered with a bunch of outdoor brands for our outdoor exploration. And so this binoculars company called Knox, they sponsored like a bunch of binoculars for the girls to be able to go on like a birding hike with this expert ornithologist named Isaiah Scott. And that was super cool to like, bring girls of color to the outdoors courtesy of this program called Ladders to the Outdoors. And it's just really cool to like, flip a lot of these like traditional coming of age moments on their head. We've done like our prom where we had girls of color come to just get pampered for an evening where we, had prom dresses, thousands of dollars of sponsorships, like raffles, games, and just like making sure that like they felt special for a night. And that's like our goal with all of our events, to like just make sure that we're boosting self-esteem but also providing value. So like not only just helping people to see themselves in a positive light, but then empowering them to like have the skills that they might need in the workforce. That came in the form of our recent film training program, where girls across the country like came in from 10 different states to Syracuse, New York, where Black Girls Don't Get Love is based, to learn about the media industry.
That's beautiful. That is awesome.
Thank you.
That's
Thank
amazing. Well, of course, I'm sure this was not an idea that just came to your mind like overnight. What kind of led you to, and what inspired you to get to create this nonprofit?
Yeah, so Black Girls Will Get Love Inc. is our nonprofit arm, and that is where Black Girls Don't Get Love does all our philanthropic initiatives, such as our prom, slumber party, outdoor exploration, and our film training program. But like the overall Black Girls Don't Get Love book and the brand was inspired by my personal experiences growing up, feeling out of place because of my hair, because of my skin. I was able to study the works of like Audre Lorde, Patricia Hill Collins. These are Black feminist theorists who really put into language what microaggressions could do to Black women and their self-esteem, and just the way that they were perceived in society. And so like getting to study like their works was like almost like a call to action for me to like be able to say, oh my goodness, like I like actually feel like my experiences are legitimate, because they were put into academic language, and they were like accessible to us to like read and study and kind of like understand like complex DEI concepts. And so having the opportunity to study these things, then I kind of was like, okay, I can use my platform and media and my passions for storytelling and social impact work to build something that intersects all of my my skills and my love for like storytelling and for elevating Black women and girls.
Love that. And you mentioned how you were in journalism before.
Yeah.
Did you ever think you would go into this route? Like, was there like a specific event that kind of triggered you to take that leap of faith, really?
Yeah, so I've been doing it for a while, but just honestly fell into it just by chance. And I think it's really special just like how it all happened, because I've been doing it like in the morning, at night, and going to work in between, and like to be able to have that moment to do it full time. It's like, wow, like I think this is what I'm supposed to be doing, because everything's kind of like lining up, and the resources are lining up, the contacts, the support, in terms of like people showing up to our events. Like you can do great things, but then nobody comes, and it's like what's the point if you're doing it just for your friends and family? Like I mean, like of course like they support you and stuff, but you want people to buy in, you want people to like actually come, like, and like not do it just because they love you, but because they see value. So like it just kind of like started to grow, and like I started like feeling like our community is actually behind us, so like let me continue to grow it.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Yeah. And I know a lot of what you do is about empowerment, and I love that. Empowering these girls. How did you find that confidence yourself? Was it a journey? Did it just show up, or?
Well, I mean, to be honest, like you gotta get the confidence every single day. Like it's to like say that you just always have the confidence is not true. Like I think this work is a climb to like have put yourself out there, especially you know, things that are inspired by personal experiences. You don't, at least for me, I didn't want this to be a brand that was just about me. I wanted it to be about a shared experience. And so, like, to have people, like, be able to resonate with a story that, you know, started from my experience, but also represented a lot of us, that means listening. That means, like, you know, being humble enough to, like, hear other people's experiences and be sensitive enough to, like, you know, say, like, it's not about, like, commercializing pain. It's about
Wow.
building community. And so, you know, it's a it's like a journey to have that confidence. But then when one person speaks up and you have that confidence to, like, put your story out there, then other people start speaking up, and then it becomes like this really beautiful chain reaction of things. So
Oh, that's amazing. Well, again, I just gotta give you the roses and the flowers. And when I was watching your like content, you literally give roses to these girls, which is so
Thank
sweet.
you.
That is so sweet.
It is. That's like my favorite part. So when we do our events, every single event, we want to set the tone for our participants. So they come in, they are greeted with roses and tiaras, and they walk down our pink carpet, and it's like this experience where, you know, we're just validating them when they come in the space, not because of something that great that they did, but just because of who they are. And so setting that tone has been really very important for our success, because it has kind of leveled the playing field, like, you know, in terms of, like, everybody matters here. And what does that actually look like beyond buzzwords, beyond you know, all of that, like, traditional things that people, you know, say but then don't actually implement. So I think that it's really cool to, like, see the impact of humanizing people, like, and just like, you know, getting at the core, because we've had people that, like, I've had girls as young as 5 as participants and women as old as 57, and like that's like sample is like so wide. And I remember in the early days of doing this, people were like, how is that gonna work? Like, that's too wide of age range. And like, granted, it was only supposed to be 13 to 25, but then had like parents on Facebook saying, we want our kids, you know, to be able to do this hopefully when they grow up or whatever. And it's like, just bring them now. We don't know what we're going to be doing in the next few years. So like, you know, we don't want to promise those type of things. We want people to just be able to experience it now. And so having them come, and then having women that just haven't had the space to, like, deal with the things that they were going through, you know, have that safe space and, like, community. It's just been, like, really wonderful.
That's great, yeah. And especially you, and we were talking about earlier, like, I was just seeing you just boss woman. Like,
Thank you.
You have a lot on your plate, so I'm sure handling all of this is not easy. What are the challenges, if any, you feel comfortable sharing? Any challenges that you face, and kind of how you, because a lot about what we talk about on this podcast is how life is real. Like, you know, we go through so many trials, but we do hopefully eventually see the light at the end of the tunnel. So what kind of keeps you going every day? I mean, yes, it is a job, but what is it that keeps you going?
I think it's the passion for the work, honestly. Nonprofit work, and anyone that works in nonprofits know it's like low paying, thankless work. But at the same time, people across the country do it all the time because they love what they do. And so to know that you're making an impact, to, like, see just lives, like, being transformed in person, like, you know, seeing girls, like, who were bullied at school walk down your carpet and telling them that they're pretty and that they matter, and giving them a crown and giving them roses, and, like, just seeing their eyes light up. And, like, you know, people, you know, frequently cry. They frequently say, like, I'm just so happy. Like, I've had 5-year-olds tell their parents that this is the best day of their entire lives. I'm like, all this hard work was worth that moment. And so, you know, on the hard days of, like, doing this type of stuff, that's, like, the things that I go back to. I have, like, videos on our social media because I try to, like, share those moments so that people can see the impact, but also I also share them for myself so that I'll never lose them, and I'll be able to come back to them and be like, this is my why.
Yeah, knowing your why is so important.
You have to.
You have to know it, like, and remember it every single day.
Yeah, you really do. You really do. And I feel like even, like, with the community members that we've been able to meet, like, that has also been so cool, because when you're living in a community, sometimes you can feel like you're just one person. But when you're doing something that people can resonate with, and you're building like you're creating something that people can get behind, it seems like you just have like an army of like goodness around you. And so
Because
that's
I'm sure
like,
you feel like alone at times.
sometimes I do, but more often than not, like I feel
Yeah,
supported.
exactly.
Just the way that people have poured into us. Like we've had a lot of success coming out, our first year and stuff, and like the work is hard, but to see people walk beside you and say, let me help you carry this load, like figuratively and literally, like it's funny because we started this and I was able to fit all of the supplies that we had for like our programming in my car. At this point, we have 5 carloads of
I'm sure your
stuff.
car mileage.
Oh my goodness, it's horrible. Just the back and forth,
Right.
but it's like hopefully
Oh,
we're blessed
wow.
with a van someday or
Yes,
something like that. Because
yes.
I mean, it's just like that's just how much like people are willing to support.
Yeah.
Transporting things, setting things up, tearing them down. I really like to acknowledge the people that do this work alongside of us, like board members, volunteers, friends, family. Like they're the ones that show up and help. It's like I cannot do this stuff by myself, and so to make sure that people know that it takes a village to do this type of work, but not only that it takes them to do it, it takes them to sustain it. And so I think that's the promise of like what we have, is that so many people are actually invested. They want to like see this grow and see people continue to be impacted by it.
Yeah. Great. Well, again, you do a lot for other people, and of course with good intention and loving and having so much passion. How do you find the time to kind of do that for yourself too?
Yeah, well,
I mean, it's a journey for us all, right?
yeah, I won't say that I take all the time in the world for myself, because it's funny when your passion becomes your work. Like, how do you separate that? Like my original career was journalism, and so I loved like more so documentary video journalism type story and
Cool.
storytelling. And I remember when I was getting started, just pounding the pavement. Any chance I got, I was shooting, I was editing, because I knew the level that I wanted to be at. And then I finally achieved that level. I was able to take a step back from it, but at the same time I was always searching for the next opportunity, searching for how do I continue to elevate my career and all that. And so to like constantly feel like you're in this like rat race of like, how do I keep getting better? How do I like, I love what I do, but I also need to continue to get to the top. Like it's endless. And so, trying to find those boundaries of like, okay, like I love what I'm doing, but I also need to rest. I need to work out. I need to spend time with family and friends. I need to like do things that feel like not only my work and my like career, but also just hobbies, things that I actually enjoy. And so like over the last couple of years I've started to prioritize that, because the burnout, especially when you do things on like such a large scale, it's just real. And so trying to like find that balance of like, okay, if we're going to be doing this huge event, like I don't need to be doing another huge event for another couple months. Let me like recalibrate and get things back on track before trying to do whatever. And it's funny because I think April 2023, I had like large events all month, every single weekend. I was taking the kids on like a like camping trip, like 3 hours out of town. And like I was, doing podcasts. I was doing a table read and a bunch of other things I can't even remember. I was doing so much I can't even remember all of it. And so every single weekend that month was packed. And then May was my birthday, and that was like, I'm off the grid. I literally cannot take a message, because I literally just work so hard. And so it's like a huge swing. Like sometimes it's better than others, but I also think that it's like it keeps us humble. So like, know that you can't do it all by yourself, and when you do try, you might get burnt out. So
and whether your hard work is going anywhere, and then we just so happened to run into this
That's really
situation that's really
special.
affirming to
Yeah.
you that, you are reaching hearts, you are reaching people, and that's amazing.
Yeah. No.
So
Thank
shout
you
out to
for
Barnes and
sharing.
Noble, shout out to the publisher, like they did something right. So a question that I wanted to ask was, of course you are here as definitely as a role model for these young girls. Who were your role models growing up?
So I think my biggest role model was probably my mom. And I have a lot of memories like when we were young. Some of my mom's friends would come over and they would say words of affirmation to us. One of them was "Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud." And I remember like just my mom like doing our hair before school and stuff, and like just trying to affirm us that we were beautiful, that your hair is beautiful, those type of things. And like um you don't like sometimes realize how much like small moments mean to you, but they add up. And so for even us and the work that we do now, it's like it is a small gesture to give someone a tiara and to tell them that they're beautiful and give them their flowers and stuff. But also these sometimes happen to be defining moments that someone will grow up and let years down the line, like say, I remember when I was a kid, there was this organization that did this for us, and it made me feel special. And I hope that people like will walk away with those like type of like positive memories, because at least for me, like with all the chaos and commotion, like and growing up in a world that sometimes doesn't make you feel pretty, like you do cling to moments that are affirming. And so kind of trying to pay that forward.
And yeah, and I'm a early childhood educator and studying that, and I understand, when you really want to reach out to especially the youth, because that's really their prime years. Everything that happens within those young years really trail off into who they become as adults, and so it's really great that you're doing that for these young people. Do you have can you recall any instance with a particular maybe individual or young girl that has kind of stuck with you? Something that you think about, even if it happened years ago, like what was that like and what was that experience?
Just like the girls that I've been able to work
Personally,
with.
yeah.
Oh yeah, I have these moments all the time. And so there's girls that come into our program that have been bullied because of their hair, their skin. They might be someone with a disability, and they come into our program and they're like, I found friends. Like I found people that really accept me. I have videos on our Instagram of people saying like, this program gives me purpose. This makes me feel like I have a place to belong. And so those anecdotes are things that I hear often, and to me that's what keeps me going, like we talked about, because if we're not making the impact, we're not doing anything. Like it's always fun to throw a huge party and have girls enjoying themselves and stuff, but at the core, what are we doing? We are supposed to be changing the way Black women, girls are perceived in society. If we're not doing that and we're not boosting their self-esteem, then the work is not being fulfilled in the way that it should. And so to hear those testimonials and hear from families who bring their kids back time after time, and it's really cool because I'll get a lot of repeat individuals participating, but I'll also get new kids every single time. And so that's like really cool to be having such a wide reach. I remember our first event, people would ask me, where are you going to get your girls from? Where are you going to, I'm like, I don't know, like, hope that they'll come. But also did the work and pounding the pavements, knocking on doors, and trying to go to cheerleading practices and different places to find my target audience, because sometimes they are overlooked in unique places in our area. And so making sure that the same people are not getting over targeted, so you can reach out to those folks, but also try to like branch out. And so to see a whole year later, like people actually coming from far and wide. We've had girls for our training program come from across the country. I had a girl take a plane and a bus to get here. 10 different states were represented in our training program, and that was really cool seeing kids fly in from across the country to be here. And so you know, it's just like, it's validating that, you know, it matters and that people desire this type of work.
It's a great thing to wake up to, knowing that and remembering that. That's great.
Yeah, it was amazing when I logged on and saw that. I was just like, no way.
I'm sure you've had many moments where you're like, what?
I frequently do, because you know, you hope that people will receive it well, but I mean, what you can't be sure. You only put out the work and you hope that people accept it, that people resonate with it. So when it does, you know, have that impact, it is like the best feeling.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, talking to our audience or anyone listening who may want to pursue something kind of, you know, knowing that there's a need in their community or, you know, in a bigger field, what would be your advice to kind of do that? I know, of course, it's a long journey, of course, but what would you say to those individuals?
So, in my former career, we did a lot of pitching, and I guess in this career, you also do a lot of pitching, but in a different way. You do a lot of pitching everywhere, but something that I remember is on them saying, what makes your project unique? Why now? And that was supposed to be like the kicker to whatever great idea you were trying to get picked up. And so I would just encourage people that are trying to pilot something new to say, why does this matter? Who is my audience? And why is this relevant now? I think different things have different relevance based on, you know, current social trends or, you know, just needs in the market or whatever. But for us, like, we're looking at the lack of Black female representation in the coming of age genre and how it represents the erasure of Black girlhood in society. And so the coming of age genre is completely untapped for girls of color. Wow. Yes, we have, you know, things like The Summer I Turned Pretty or whatever, and we have this huge canon of great American coming of age films, but where are the Black female characters and Black female characters that are not, you know, facing police brutality and violence, like in films like The Hate U Give? You know, we need to have Black girls coming of age and having their moments where they get to go to prom and fall in love and just be kids. And so that's what I did my TEDx on. And I, you know, frequently try to bring in like inspiration from content that like is already out there and say, why are we not seeing this? Like, it's like a 30-year time span of great American coming of age films. Like, what is the problem? And so I really have no problem being the person to change that. I want to be the person to change it because I have that passion and I personally resonate with the story. And I can, you know, contribute because I lived a lot of those experiences. And so people, they often say also make work about things that you know about, things that you're passionate about. Don't try to tell other people's stories. I think that's also really important. If you want to tell a story that is not in a group that you're not part of, bring in someone that has that direct experience and partner with them and see like how you guys can collaborate to bring something to life. But really just making sure that authenticity is like the number one thing that you're bringing because you can't make that up. And I feel like at least for us, I think that people can see that this is real, that it is like inspired by personal experiences, but also that we want to have a community of people that just feel special and feel seen and valued. And so, you know, like doing something so real and honest, like it just inevitably attracts other people.
Yeah, and that's why I was attracted to you.
Thank you.
I was actually joking with Henry when I met Eden. I was like, Henry, you can go back to New York. I'll keep Eden over here. I'll keep her over here because I love what you do, and
Thank you.
I'm cheering you on, girl. Oh my goodness. And you just saying like you need, there needs to be more representation, especially in films. Like you just hearing your story and doing, you doing what you're doing is a film I see already in the future. You're just like one
Thank
of the
you.
great examples of what it means to really push for something that you're so passionate about, something that it's really your life story, and that's what we push also here on Positive and Ponder about the importance of your story and how many things in our lives will try to invalidate us or try to persuade us that we aren't enough or that we will never meet a certain expectation. And that's, I'm glad that we collab today.
Yeah.
And although a little bit different in certain ways, but for the most part, very purpose driven and the same reasons to just empower, to encourage, to just remind everyone that we are all human and that is something that we could just start there from conversation.
Yeah.
I think just having conversation is where great strength can happen, more empathy can happen, more peace, more love, and yeah, so I'm cheering you on. So
Thank you.
another I guess one of the last questions I have for you, what is your greatest goals? I'm sure there's many, especially like in the deeper end of what you do in the business, but what are your greatest goals and intentions for your organization in these next years, these next months?
Yeah, so I hope that the Black Girls Don't Get Love book will ultimately become a television show. And
Yes.
thank you. I'm really working really hard on that. And so in my private company, working on that. And then on Black Girls Will Get Love Inc., our nonprofit arm, working on continuing to grow our philanthropic initiatives and spread more widely across the country and make sure that the work that we're doing can be accessible, because a lot of people experience this stuff. And so you can't put a dollar amount on self-esteem. And I think that with us, we want to like make sure that cost is not a barrier. And so expanding our reach and our partnerships nationally to be able to continue to bring these type of experiences to whoever needs them is a huge goal. And so, yeah, I think those are my top two goals. But overall, like my vision for Black Girls Don't Get Love is to have it to be as big as Disney. I want to be a Disney competitor.
We're claiming it. We're manifesting it right now, bro.
Yeah, I want to do
You're gonna look back at this podcast and be
I
like, "Oh my god!"
I can't wait. I really can't wait. I really want to provide those like large scale experiences and do content, but also provide like that experiential aspect where people can like experience the the Black Girls Don't Get Love world and story through our prom, summer party, outdoor exploration, and any other cool ideas I come up with over that time period in a physical location and stuff. So
Awesome. And for our audience, for those who were touched by this or found interest in what she's doing, how can we reach you? How can we find out more? What can we do to support you?
Sure. So you can visit blackgirlsdon'tgetlove.com. That's where we have all of our content in terms of the experiences that we've already done. Then you can reach out there. There's a contact page, and then you can also follow us on social media and definitely share our work. That definitely helps and goes a long way.
Yay. Well, thank you, Eden.
Yes.
So
Thank
honored
you,
to
Chloe.
have you. Thank you so much for taking time to be here, having dinner with us, getting
Yeah,
to know you
so
was
sweet.
such a joy. And I feel like I just have to tell you, like, you are doing exactly what you need to do at this very moment. So thank you so much.
Thank you for having me. I love being here, and congratulations to you and like all the work that you're doing, because I think there needs to be more people that are confident enough to take that like leap of faith. So congrats to you too.
Thank you. Well, thank you again, and thank you for those who listened. I hope you learned something. I hope you gained something today, and hopefully empowered you today. For anyone who may have been in situations where they did not feel worthy or did not feel loved, there's many people out here to tell you that you are, including us. And please, we're gonna to put more information about Eden's things in our description so you can get a hold of her. And please, anyone out there who'd love to collab and see, sees her vision come to life, please let us know, let her know. We are here to also support you in any way that we can. But that's it. If you like this, please subscribe. You can follow us on all of our socials. Stay tuned for some future events. We just had our second event already. We had a very, very successful Positive in Pains, and it was so amazing seeing you guys in person. Connecting with you all is still very a surreal feeling that I'm experiencing right now, but I'm just super grateful and so excited to see what's next for Positive and Ponder. But yeah, that's it. Don't forget, guys, to always love, to always be curious, and to always ponder. Bye.
I love it.